About 20 years ago, I stopped teaching Tai Chi and Chi Kung. I had a school, I had lots of students, um, and I taught for about 15 years, and I'd done Tai Chi and Chi Kung and breathing exercises for a good, I don't know, 50, well, at least 10 years before that. And when I gave up, I had Lyme's disease. I didn't know I had Lyme's disease, but all my joints had swollen up. My sacrum was starting to give way. I was ill all the time. And because my sacrum became weak, I couldn't sink anymore into the positions, because in Tai Chi and Chi Kung, you're often sinking down low with the knees bent and the pelvis tucked under and moving around in that position. And my pelvis couldn't take it, all the ligaments were strained. And for me, it was a bit like losing a leg or even two. It really had been my passion, teaching Tai Chi, doing Tai Chi. I could no longer do my Tai Chi and Chi Kungs. And then a few years later, I was bedridden with the Lyme's disease. And at that time, the holographic breathing came through. And that became my new job. My job before that was a Tai Chi and Chi Kung teacher. And then my job became teaching holographic breathing, which to me was like an inner Chi Kung or an inner Tai Chi, because instead of doing the movements, I was watching the different energies and the different internal movements through my body. I'd had a very good training of 25 years working with, well, internal and external movements with Tai Chi to be able to map the internal energies and movements of holographic breathing. And I've been teaching that ever since. And I would keep going back to trying to do Tai Chi. I just loved freestyle Tai Chi, where I could just sink and let myself move and let everything unwind. But every time I would do that, my pelvis would give way, my sacrum would give way, my knees would hurt. So, and I couldn't walk, or not without pain, for a couple of days after. So it kind of put me off. And then recently, people have been asking for me to teach Chi Kungs for holographic breathing, moving Chi Kungs for holographic breathing. And I started off doing kind of just sinking and lifting and bits where I didn't have to sit into my pelvis and turn. But it still put a pressure on it. In Chi Kungs, normally breathing, kind of when you're breathing in, you're lifting. I'll go back a bit. Normally in Chi Kungs or breathing Chi Kungs, you kind of breathing in, your body is lifting, your hands are lifting, breathing out. It's like movements like that. So you're lifting on the in-breath, and then the hands are coming out on the out-breath. And this didn't work with holographic breathing. In a holographic breathing, there's a shortening. Well, the whole body is expanding out laterally on the in-breath, but there's a shortening top to bottom. Like our lungs can fill in all directions, but the abdomen can't. For the abdomen to breathe, if you think of a balloon, the abdomen stays the same size and volume. So for the abdomen to expand, you can't just make it expand. The diaphragm, top and bottom, they move towards each other. There's a tightening of the muscles, and the abdomen is shortening top to bottom, and that is what creates the expansion. And that is the same for every part of the body other than the lungs, because the lungs have an external air to them so they can expand. But everything else, the brain, the arms, the legs, the pelvis, they shorten top to bottom on the in-breath. The muscles pull them in, they expand sideways. And so with the normal Chi Kung exercises where kind of breathing out, you're sinking, breathing in, you're lifting, it's like was the other way around. The body was lengthening on the in-breath. And also the arms and legs were out of synchronization. The arms were bending to lift out and the legs were straightening. So the arms were bending at the same time, the legs straightening. So it didn't work. So I started just applying the mechanics of holographic breathing, like the arms and legs shortening on the in-breath. So they're both shortening. The legs are bending, the arms bending, both lengthening on the out-breath. So you're rising and the arms come out. A very interesting thing happened. All of those muscles in my pelvis that had been previously not supported when I was doing Chi Kung, suddenly when I used the mechanics of holographic breathing and the knees bent on the in-breath and lengthened on the out-breath, the whole sacrum was supported and I could feel the mechanics of holographic breathing opening through the pelvis, through the legs as I breathed in, and then as I breathed out, could feel the sacrum adjusting, the hips opening, and the adjustment on the out-breath was straight through where I had the pulled ligaments, where it was strained, where it was overstretched, and out into the hips. And every time I rose, it adjusted the sacrum, it adjusted the hips, it supported them. And that whole injury started resolving itself, and I started feeling taller, and my hips were becoming more and more loose. My sacrum was really feeling great. And that injury of the sacrum didn't just come on its own. I'd always had that since a child, a pain through the left-hand side of my pelvis and down that leg. It cleared that up. I suddenly realized I no longer had that pain that I always had. So it gave me my legs back, something I hadn't been able to practice for 20 years. Have come back, and you are the first class that I've taught in 20 years. So we are doing that, and I've got my legs back, and we're going to do it. But